Hello and welcome to Cyber-Xero-Reviews. Today we're going to be reviewing the game Destiny, which came out a few weeks ago. And since then it has just gone off the charts. But is it truly as good as it seems? Well, we are going to be finding that out today. I'm going to be doing this review in 5 parts. 1. The story of Destiny, what the story is, what it's all about, and the story of who you are in the game. 2. How your character develops throughout the game. Is it a good development? Is it steady? Or is there very little at all? 3. Post game. What does it do after the game? Is it replayable? Can you continue playing after the game? What all is there to go on to? 4. The world itself. Now this is going to be different from the story-based aspect of this, as I'm going to be talking about the world in which Destiny takes part in, such as the different environments, the way the worlds have worked, that kind of thing. And finally, this one's going to be special. It's only going to be used for certain games, but the multiplayer aspect. Is the multiplayer worth it? Is it fun? It doesn't have any enhancements to the game at all. Should you play multiplayer? Is it decent? And all that. So here we are. We're going to get started on the Destiny review. Alright, the story of Destiny takes place in our own universe. It starts out with the discovery of the Traveler, as humans call it. It ignited a golden age of technology and exploration for humanity. Initially, the Traveler had settled on Mars, where it shared its vast knowledge and technology with humans, and then a city grew around it. Humans tripled its lifespan, terraformed planets and moons, and expanded its civilization beyond Earth and throughout much of the solar system. The Golden Age lasted for centuries, but human civilization fell to a cataclysm of extraordinary magnitude, known as the Collapse. This became known as the Darkness. You'll see this throughout the game, and you'll see this throughout the game, fighting off many enemies of the Darkness, such as the Fallen, the Hive, the Cabal, and the Vex. Now, the main story of the game is to take down most of the Vex and take it down the Black Garden. The Black Garden is the home of the Vex, and that is where the game will end. As always, there will be spoilers throughout these. But the Black Garden, not much is known about it. All I know is that this is where you fight the heart of the Black Garden. You have to fight on many enemies here, and in order to get there, you need the Eye of a Gate Lord. It is found on Mars, and from Mars is where you continue the end of the game. You have to fight through the Cabal and fight through the Vex to get there. When you're in there, it looks nothing like anything else in the game. In fact, it kind of looks like a normal garden, to be honest. But I digress from that. The rest of the story is, you have to start out on Earth in old Russia. This is where you start out and you have to take down the Vex as well, not the Vex, the Hive, as well as the Fallen.
So yeah, that happened.
In order to bring up a solar panel or something of that sort, and to protect old Russia from attacks.
Really? Couldn't been
From
modeled after
there,
my
you
first
find out
rifle.
that the Fallen are planning something. It's never really clearly
For a man, I
stated,
got a
but they're
pulse
planning
rifle.
something. There you have to go to the moon, where you have to take down the Shrine of Oryx, which is how the Hive is communicating to their god or their king. The Shrine of Oryx is the
I mean,
ending
I
point
can
for the
stick with
moon.
using
After
that
the moon, you
auto
go to
rifle.
the Reef, or Venus, really. Then after Venus, you go to the Reef to talk to the Awoken. Now, Awoken is one of the character classes which you have choice of, character
This weapon
races,
can be
not
fired in
classes,
full auto
that you have a
mode.
choice of choosing. And the other classes, Hunter,
I'm keeping it.
Titan, and Warlock, as well as
I saw it. I was like,
Human,
okay, never mind.
not Vex, Human, Awoken, and a third race.
Yeah, it's because it's a rare item. Only God has a
Now,
lot of upgrades. Definitely gonna keep that full auto mode.
after you get done in the Reef, you have to go back to Venus and take down a Gate Lord.
Speed
The Gate
reload.
Lord
Reload this
is
weapon quickly.
the one that,
So I'm
can help
keeping it now.
summon the Vex to wherever they are needed. After you get done with fighting the Gate Lords, you go over to Mars and take on the Cabal, and you continue on there to the
Yeah.
Black Garden, where you
First of all,
take
like,
down the
I'm
heart of
not
the
gonna
Black
keep it
Garden,
all.
and that is
Okay, it's
essentially the end
nice.
of the game.
I'm gonna keep it.
Now, the stories are short. This is a very pretty much a lack of a storyline to have a basis off of. And looking at the gameplay is awesome, but from a story aspect, I have to give it about a 6 out of 10. Slightly high, but it's what I'm going to give it from here on out. It is going to be a 6 of 10 in the story gameplay
I
aspect.
think that.
Now onto your character. How does your character develop into Destiny? Well, besides when you make your character and the leveling up that you do with that character, not much. I mean, your character might have some funny lines here and there, but you don't really talk much, to be honest. And you don't really see much of a development from when you start out as becoming a dead person being brought up to life as a guardian with a ghost to the end of the game. There's not much that you do to develop. Besides, leveling up and with different weapons and armor that you can get, development is kind of a lost factor in this game. Now, does that mean that there isn't any development? No, I mean, your character's not the only person in the game. There is the ghost who, from the beginning of the game, is kind of like serious person, and then getting towards the middle of it, he has a sort of a humorous aspect to him, and then getting to the end of it, he's getting a bit more of a humorous aspect, but still that serious being. Now, does that mean you shouldn't play the game? No, not at all. I mean, the game may not have much of a total character development aspect to it, but it doesn't mean that's not a good game. From character development, you can just go and look at how you level up and stuff like that, because you get all these different abilities when you level up. You can choose how your character reacts to stuff, as in how it reacts to taking damage, and then the types of weapons and armor that you can use. The possibilities are endless there. But in how your character changes, there's very little change, to be honest. And in such a short storyline, there's not much of a surprise, so I'm going to give character development a 3 out of 10. The 3 is basically saying that, I can still change it to where I can change my character up to how I want them to be in combat, but can't change how they act or anything of the matter. Now on to the post game. After you defeated the Black Garden, you've made it to level 20. What else is there to do? Well, what else you can do in the game is that you will unlock the Crucible at level 5. Crucible is the multiplayer aspect of this, which I won't really get into much here, so I'll save that for later on. But that's one of the post-game things you can work on, or you can do it pre-game too. But the other things that you can actually do in the game are the raids. Raids are these things where you go and you fight off multiple bosses to loot them. This is how you get some of the more, respective armors and legendaries and exotics. As well as multiple other things, such as you can get extreme levels and everything. Now, for leveling, after you hit level 20, which is the max level you can level up in Destiny through normal means, your next levels are set up from your armor and light that you have. Armor gives off this thing known as light, which helps you level up. So far, the max level reached is 30. Can it go any higher? I'm not sure. I think that's what you get when you get everything maxed out. Now, to upgrade your armor and everything, you need these special items that you get from areas throughout the game. Some like Spirit Blooms you get from Venus, Relic Irons you get from Mars, Helium you get from the Moon, and Spine Metal you get from Earth. And leveling up them levels up the amount of light you get and everything else, so you can become a higher level person or guardian. And on top of that, there are different strike missions you can do, as well as harder difficulties you can go into, as well as they're including events, because it is an MMORPG. The latest event being the Queen's Wrath when this is posted. The Queen's Wrath has been a fun event where you get to do all these different types of bounties, And bounties are these things that you can go in, you have to do a certain thing, or kill a certain number of enemies, collect something certain, and you get paid for that. Now, paid is using glimmer or marks. It's usually, or you can also get items as well, such as weapons, or reputation and experience. After level 20, all experience is going to your subclass and weapons and armor. Yes, they do need experience to be leveled up. You get that from killing off enemies or doing bounties. Now, bounties range from just getting headshots to getting 9,000 experience without dying. Some can be easy, some are extremely difficult to do. Now, with that being said, as far as post game goes, I'm going to be giving it a 8 out of 10. The post game is fun. There's so many more things to do, and it can give you anywhere between a couple minutes to hours upon hours of gameplay. And it is fun. That's what I like to see, is hours upon hours of gameplay. Now, considering that it's possibly not a finished game, is kind of what angers me. But I digress. And part 4, the world in which Destiny is taking place. Destiny takes place in our own solar system, where you get to travel between Earth, the Moon, Mars, Venus, and the Reef, which is an asteroid belt. Now, you don't really get to do anything in the Reef, but it's still a place where you can go and look. Now, the world itself is just magnificent and beautiful. There are so many things to do in this world, and the way it looks and the way it is designed, is the levels are huge. There's so much to be doing. You can meet so many people. You get to see the Fallen in almost every area. The Vex, the Hive members, and the Cabal. Now it's set up like you would think Earth be set up, with the dense grasslands and some certain trees that here and there. And then you also have your hub home world, which is the tower. Now the tower is set right over Earth, and it is where you see everything. It is probably one of the most beautiful areas. It's got a fountain. It's got a nice, view. You have this huge city you can look out onto. This is also where you buy and sell things, collect your bounties and stuff like that. Then you move on to the moon. It is what you'd expect. Obviously it has the tunnels and stuff like that underneath it, which the Hive roam through, but as well as that's a space station sitting on it. I mean, because there much you can do on the moon? Of course there's a lot you can do there. But it might not be as eye-appealing as, like, say, Venus is, but it does look nice. Now, Venus is probably the most eye-appealing area, as it has a beautiful, lush environment, many different areas you can visit. It has a city-type structures on it, as well as just the most luscious and beautiful forests you can see. It is magnificent. It is beautiful. I highly suggest this is probably where you're spending a lot of your time as well. But it's one of the reasons I highly suggest the game if you're into visual appeals. Now, granted, it's not the visual appeals that sell a game. Never should. It is how the game plays and how you think it would be fun. If you don't think the game is going to be fun, you should not buy it. But let's move on from there. After you get done with Venus, you get to go to the Reef. The Reef is where the Queen lives, and it is where one of the most crucial parts of the story plotline. It's a nice place, but you are not allowed to go there after the first 2 times that you visit. First time when you get your first mission to find the Gate Lord, and the second time after you found the Gate Lord and you have to go back. Now it looks nice. It's got that nice deep purple tonish to it, but other than that, you can't explore it, which is sad. Now, moving on from there, after you get done there, up comes Mars. Mars is just a desolate wasteland. It's got what you normally expect. It's got the buildings, it's got structure, it's even got a city built into it. It is buried, and you have to, explore it later on in the mission, but it's not really eye-appealing. It's really like orangish, sandish color, but it's still got really high graphic resolution and everything to it. It looks nice, it's beautiful, but it's not as eye-appealing as Venus is. Venus being the most appealing place. Now, for the way the world is, how it's set up, I have to give that one at least a 7 or an 8 out of 10. I'll stick it to an 8 just because it looks nice, it's beautiful, and that is what counts. And now, moving on. Now finally, I'm going to be talking about the multiplayer aspect. This will be short and simple and to the point. The multiplayer runs smoothly, but you do have that chance of where if you have a bad internet connection and you disconnect, then you just lost anything that you were doing. If you're playing in a raid with some friends and you lose internet connection, you are sent out of it. It's nice and smooth, but that little error just ruins everything. I mean, if they change it to where, if you lose connection, it like just puts you back out until you get connection back and then sends you right back to where you were, that would make it so much better. But if you're at the end of a mission and you lose connection, all of a sudden you have to restart the entire mission. And some of these missions can be long. And if you're with your friends and they just lost you, you can probably join back in with them, but it's still they just lost you. They might have needed you. They could probably have to restart as well. I think. But when moving on, going to something like the Crucible. The Crucible is a fun aspect where it's player versus player, multiplayer Call of Duty like gameplay. You're set into certain game types. There are only a few of them at the moment, but when you go into them, you're set into teams or free for all, and you're to fight against each other. Now, it is fun, and there are sometimes that things might be a bit overpowered, such as the hunters, arc blades, or golden gun that are one-hit kills all the time. And then obviously, I guess they're the supers. They're meant to do tons and tons of damage. And the one-hit kills, I mean, the arc blades, you move around extremely fast, and you end up killing off your enemies pretty quickly. Whereas the golden gun, you're given 3 shots, and if you get a kill with the throwing knife and you have that ability on, you have possibility of getting a 4th shot as well. And those are all one-hit kills. And the Titan has a Havoc Smash attack, which once again, it's an area of effect one-hit kill. It's got a chance of getting more than just 1 to 3 kills, like such as the golden gun. Then the Warlock has a Orb of Darkness attack, which is nice, and again, it is a one-hit kill. Now, moving on from everything else, you also have the strike missions, which can be given between level 18 and level 26.
Up here.
From there, just the normal strike missions, which you can go onto any other game, any other world, and you'll see them, you can play them. Strike missions have that ability to give you tons of reputation, tons of marks, and they are pretty fun. You can play them with your friends, or you can just play them with random people throughout the world. Now, after strike missions, you have raids. Raids are difficult and they're different. You have no idea what you're supposed to be doing in them until you figure it out yourself. Of course, you can look up a guide and stuff, but where's the fun in that? Raids, they're difficult. They're meant to be difficult. You have to figure out what you're supposed to do, and they are probably the most rewarding aspect of the game. You can get anything from them. You can loot any boss, anything. And so, for that very reason right there, I give the multiplayer aspect of this game an 8 out of 10. I would give it a 9 or a 10, but the fact that if you disconnect and you just lose every progress that you just had brings it down a couple notches. But the gameplay is still awesome as it is. I mean, yeah, it's still a fun game, but it doesn't deserve that 10 or 9 at the moment. Once it gets fixed, I might change it. I don't know. But as for that, let us move on to the final portion of the review. And now we are on to the final part of the review where I just give you my overall rating and suggest the game or not. Now, combining all the other ratings that I gave it, I have to give this game an overall rating of a 7 out of 10. Why a 7 out of 10? Because, but despite the fact that there isn't much of a, total plot or storyline to the game, and there's little to no character development, it's still a fun game, and, the multiplayer kind of makes up for it to a certain extent, and the world is beautiful, so. But also with the fact that you can disconnect throughout the game, and you lose all of your progress, just kind of bumps it down a few notches as well. So in all, it's a 7 out of 10. Do I recommend the game? most certainly. If you're into not very story-based games, but if you're into multiplayer games, shooter games, first-person shooters, stuff like that. If you like the Halo franchise, you will love this game series. The game, and the DLC will be coming out soon. Maybe hopefully adding more onto this non-existent story. I mean, yeah, it's a story you can finish in like 2 days at the very least. Some can even finish it in one day if you just put your mind to it. That's not that hard. It's short, and the fact that they already know the 2 DLCs that are going to be coming out for it kind of makes it feel unfinished. I mean, if you take another game, for example, that they said that there weren't going to be any DLC for it, or they're not looking into DLC for the game, and you look at it thinking, yeah, this probably is going to be a good game. It's going to be 100% and it's going to be completed with minor glitches and bugs. But when a game comes like this and they know the DLC that's coming out for it, like the Call of Duty games, it just feels like it's unfinished. I mean, yeah, you already know what's coming out for it, then why not just put it in there? When you can buy a season pass for it right away, just put it in there for it. Come on, it's not that hard. But when you have a game where it comes out and says there's no DLC that they know of, it's going to be a good game. But as for now, that is my rating, 7 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, like, rate, comment, subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Share it with people you don't know. Share it on Facebook. Anything. Just, And let me know what kind of reviews you'd like to see next. What games you'd like me to review. And, let me know what other type of videos you'd like to be seeing. Now, again, thank you for watching. And, as always, have fun playing Destiny.